And Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him. Genesis 5:24. Have you ever felt distant from God? Questioning your path in life, when doubts cloud your heart? You're not alone in this struggle. Many of us grapple with maintaining faith, especially when we face challenges. But by the end of this video, you will discover Enoch's secrets to walking with God. His profound faith and connection can transform your relationship with the divine. This journey will encourage you to reflect on your spiritual walk, pushing you to deepen your bond with God. Join us as we unpack 5 spiritual principles embedded in Enoch's life. These principles can empower you to cultivate unshakable faith and embrace a fulfilling relationship with God. So, whether you seek clarity or strength in your spiritual life, you're in the right place. Let's embark on this journey together. Prayer is a powerful way to connect with God. It's like having a heart-to-heart conversation with a dear friend. When we pray sincerely, we open our hearts, share our fears, our hopes, and our gratitude. This is what Enoch did as he walked with God. Enoch's life teaches us the value of sincere prayer. He showed us that it is not just about asking for things, but about building a real relationship with the divine. In talking with God, we can find our strength and guide our steps. Think about Jesus and how he prayed. He took time away from the crowds to connect with his Father. In Luke 5:16, we read that Jesus often withdrew to lonely places and prayed. This tells us that moments of solitude and prayer were vital in his life. Just like Jesus, we can honor our relationship with God by setting aside specific times dedicated to prayer. It can be early in the morning, during lunch, or even at bedtime. Now let's talk about practical ways to make prayer a part of our daily lives. First, find a quiet spot where you feel comfortable. Maybe it's your room, a special chair, or even a place in nature. Prepare your heart and mind. Write down what you want to talk about, your cares, thankfulness, or even your struggles. This can help you focus. Setting aside a specific time every day trains us to build this essential habit. Journaling is another amazing tool. When we journal our prayers, we can keep track of what we've been asking God. We can write down our prayer requests, and as time goes on, we can see how He has answered them. Reflecting on past prayers helps us recognize God's presence and His work in our lives. It can be quite surprising to look back and realize how God has guided and provided for us. For example, let's say you're worried about a big test coming up at school. Write it down in your journal. Pray earnestly about it. As you study and prepare, thank God for the strength and knowledge He gives you. Later, you can look back at that entry and see how He helps you through. Documenting your prayer experience deepens your faith and encourages you on this journey. Moreover, touching on gratitude in our prayers transforms how we see the world. It's easy to focus on the negative things happening around us. But when we express gratitude, even for the small blessings, our hearts open up. Thankfulness shifts our perspective. Instead of feeling burdened, we notice the beauty around us. When you pray, don't forget to thank God for giving you breath in the morning, for your family, for friends, and even for the little moments in life that bring joy. This gratitude will fill your spirit and strengthen your faith. It reminds us that God is always at work in our lives, even when things feel tough. Remember, prayer should be a joyful experience, not a chore. It's about building a bond of love, trust, and understanding with God. As we make space for sincere prayer, we begin to walk more closely with Him. We experience a sense of peace that extends beyond our understanding when we genuinely open our hearts. Our spiritual lives become richer and deeper as we share our lives with God in an honest way. As we explore Enoch's life, we can see how prayer transformed his journey with God. We can learn from him that our conversations with God can light up our path and guide us through the toughest storms. We are reminded that prayer invites God into our everyday life, leading us toward abundance and purpose. So, how about you? Are you ready to deepen your prayer life? Walk with God, just as Enoch did. Embrace the gift of sincere prayer, and discover how it can change your world. Trials can sometimes feel like heavy shadows hanging over our lives, but in the dark moments lies an incredible opportunity for growth. In Romans 5:3-4, we read, "Not only so, but we also glory in our sufferings, because we know that suffering produces perseverance, perseverance, character, and character, hope." This powerful verse reminds us that difficulties are not just obstacles. They can actually shape us into stronger, more resilient individuals. Just like Job, who faced unimaginable suffering, we, too, can find strength in our trials. Job lost everything, his wealth, his health, and even his children, and yet, he remained faithful. His story reveals that our challenges can lead us closer to God if we allow them to. When we're in the midst of hard times, it's easy to feel overwhelmed and question our faith. But Job's unwavering faith amid suffering serves as a beacon of hope for us. It teaches us that holding onto faith during tough moments can build a foundation of perseverance. Practical applications can make a big difference when facing difficulties. One great way is to keep a faith journal. This journal can be your safe space to express your thoughts and emotions during hard times. Write about your feelings, your fears, and your prayers. You'll be amazed at how writing can help clarify your thoughts and give you a new perspective on your struggles. Plus, when you look back in the future, you'll see how much you've grown and how your faith has evolved. Thinking about your own experiences can help connect you to this theme. Have you ever faced a moment when it felt like everything was going wrong? Remember that time when you were filled with doubt, but you pushed through. Those stories are not just yours, they are shared among so many. Sharing our stories of overcoming doubt and fear can be a powerful source of encouragement for others. When we open up about our challenges, we not only find healing for ourselves, but also inspire those around us to keep going. Though it can seem tough to navigate alone, leaning on community for support is crucial during difficult times. Whether through friends, family, or your faith community, it's essential to reach out and share what you're experiencing. Don't forget the importance of connection in our faith journeys. Surrounding ourselves with people who genuinely care can strengthen our resolve and lift us up when we feel down. Together, we can encourage one another and remind ourselves that we are not alone. Imagine a time when a friend sat with you during a hard moment, offering kind words or just a listening ear. Those moments become anchors for our souls, reminding us that we are loved and supported. Sharing our struggles brings us closer to one another, and it helps us realize that no one has to face their battles alone. We need to see each other's humanity and reach out as a community. As we walk through our difficulties, remember that God's presence shines even in the darkest places. He walks alongside us, often in the most unexpected ways. When we feel lost, we can choose to focus on the lessons we can learn through perseverance. Our trials are stepping stones to greater character and hope. They can equip us to share love and wisdom to those who may be facing similar struggles. So, embrace your journey. Trust that God is with you every step of the way. Lean into your faith, keep that journal, and share your story. Let those trials refine you and prepare you for what lies ahead. As you face life's challenges, continue to seek support and recognize the strength and unity, for as we grow stronger through our trials, we build a beautiful tapestry of faith that reflects God's love and grace. Sometimes, we look for God in the big moments, the loud miracles, and the dramatic changes in our lives. But what if the true beauty of God's presence is found in the small, everyday moments? Each day, we pass by countless reminders of His love and faithfulness tucked away in the ordinary. It can be as simple as a beautiful sunset or a gentle breeze on your face. These small signs are God's way of connecting with us, whispering reminders that He is always near. The Bible tells us in Psalm 19:1-4 that creation itself speaks of God's glory. The heavens declare the glory of God. The skies proclaim the work of His hands. Day after day, they pour forth speech. Night after night, they reveal knowledge. Imagine how much we might be missing if we only look for the extraordinary. This passage invites us to open our eyes to the small things that can lead us to recognize God's signs in our lives. Recognizing God's presence through the small things is essential for deepening our faith. You may recall a time when you noticed something, a flower bloom, a child's laughter, or a simple act of kindness from a stranger. These small blessings often hold profound meanings, encouraging us in challenging times and comforting us during our struggles. They remind us that God is constantly at work around us, even when we might feel lost or alone. One way to cultivate this awareness is by keeping an eye out for what we can call God moments in our daily lives. These can be simple occurrences that seem small but carry significant weight. Perhaps it's an unexpected message from a friend right when you needed encouragement, or finding a dime while thinking about finances. These moments serve as gentle nudges, prompting us to remember that we are never out of His reach. In practicing this, it can be helpful to create a God Moments journal. Whenever you encounter something that feels meaningful, a quiet moment of peace, a beautiful scene, or a kind gesture, jot it down. Doing this allows you to build a collection of reminders that can lift your spirits during tougher days. Your journal can become a treasure chest of God's faithfulness, encouraging you to look for Him every day. Let's not forget that these small signs can also serve as opportunities to share with others. When we talk about our God moments with friends or family, we not only encourage ourselves, but also inspire them to open their eyes to the beauty around them. Sharing these experiences can spark conversations about faith and remind others of how much God cares for each of us, even in the simplest ways. Moreover, embracing this perspective allows us to draw connections between our everyday experiences and God's work in our lives. It can help us realize that God doesn't only communicate through grand gestures or signs, but often chooses to meet us in the mundane. The warmth of the sun, a warm meal shared with loved ones, or even laughter among friends can be reminders of His presence. Building this habit can transform how we see the world. Instead of rushing through our day or getting caught up in worries and doubts, we begin to notice gentle footprints of God in the tiny details of our lives. That shift in perspective helps us cultivate gratitude, making us more aware of the extraordinary within the ordinary. As you move forward, take a moment each day to pause, breathe, and observe. What small signs of God's presence do you encounter? How can you celebrate those moments? By sharing those with friends or family, we heighten our collective awareness of His faithfulness. Remember, recognizing God's signs in small things can strengthen our faith and provide comfort even when life feels overwhelming. Keep your eyes open. The beauty of God's grace is often waiting to be discovered in the very next moment. Obedience is more than just following rules. It's about trust and faithfulness to God. When we choose to obey, we demonstrate our belief in His plans for our lives. In the Bible, we see obedience as a key element of Enoch's relationship with God. After all, it was through walking closely with the Lord that Enoch received His favor. Just as Abraham showed a remarkable act of obedience by leaving his homeland without knowing where he was heading, we too can learn from this example that trusting God often means stepping into the unknown. Obedience can feel like a risk sometimes. You might find yourself in situations where following God's guidance seems difficult or unpopular, but that's when faith truly shines. In Genesis 12, God tells Abraham to leave everything familiar behind. Imagine that, picking up your life and moving to a new place. How would you feel? Excited, scared, confused? This is the reality many face when they believe God is calling them to take a bold step. Yet, it is in these moments of uncertainty that we often find our greatest growth. Let's think about how we can apply this in our own lives. Take a moment to reflect. Are there areas where you might be feeling a nudge to obey God? Maybe it's reaching out to someone in need, serving in your community, or even changing a habit that doesn't please Him. Identifying these areas can be powerful. Obedience isn't just for the big decisions. It's often in the small, everyday choices, choosing kindness, patience, and love. When we act in accordance with God's will, we can experience growth in our spiritual journey. Sharing personal experiences can also deepen our understanding of obedience. Perhaps you've had moments when following your heart led you to an unexpected place. When I was hesitant to accept a new job opportunity, I prayed and felt God urging me to go for it. It turned out to be a blessing. Not only did I grow professionally, but I also met incredible people along the way. God used that step of obedience to enrich my life in ways I couldn't have imagined. Just like Abraham, putting faith into action can lead to incredible blessings. Now, let's consider what happens when we obey. It's a transformative experience. When we step out in faith, it doesn't just change our situation, it often changes us. Obedience builds our trust in God. Each time we choose to follow His leading, we strengthen our relationship. Those moments teach us to rely on Him and recognize His hand in our lives. Over time, our faith grows as we see how God rewards our willingness to obey. Imagine living a life where every decision is rooted in obedience to God. It opens up a world of possibilities. Each time we pay attention to those divine nudges, we begin to see our lives aligning more closely with His purpose. We may find ourselves in unexpected places, but we can trust that God is always with us. Just like Enoch found favor by walking with God, we too can find favor by faithfully following His guidance. In conclusion, exploring the importance of obedience in our spiritual walk allows us to experience a deeper connection with God. Embracing this principle opens our hearts to receive His blessings and understand His will more clearly. Remember, it's not about perfection, but about direction, taking those small steps toward God's call in our lives. With every act of obedience, we draw closer to Him, and He reveals more of His plans for us. Let's take that leap of faith today. Where might God be calling you to obey? Fellowship plays a vital role in strengthening our faith and our relationship with God. When we gather together with others who believe, we create a space where encouragement and inspiration flourishes. This connection is supported by the Bible, which shows us how early Christians shared their lives and faith with one another. In Acts 40-47, we see how they devoted themselves to teaching, fellowship, breaking of bread, and prayer. They found strength and joy in their community, and their faith grew deeper because of it. Imagine the early church, bustling with life. Picture those believers gathered together, sharing stories about how God moved in their lives. Their joy and struggles intertwined as they supported one another. This community experience is a reflection of the support we need in our own spiritual journeys. When we share our joys and burdens, we build a bond that helps us to carry each other's weight, making our individual faith stronger. You might wonder where to find this community. It can be as simple as reaching out to a small group at your church, or perhaps joining an online faith community. Seek out those who share your beliefs and interests, creating a circle of support that encourages you through difficult times. Being part of a community allows us to learn from one another, making our faith journeys richer and more fulfilling. Having a supportive community holds us accountable. When we have someone to talk to, we are more likely to stay focused on our spiritual goals. We can share our struggles, and instead of feeling isolated, we learn that we're not alone. Just as iron sharpens iron, our fellowship with others sharpens our understanding of God and His purpose for us. Personal reflection is essential in this process. Think about those times when a friend's words lifted you up during a rough patch. Or recall moments when you've shared your testimony and someone else found hope in your story. These experiences remind us of how powerful community can be in faith. Each voice adds a layer of understanding, and every shared experience creates a stronger connection to God. Being a part of a community goes beyond social gatherings. It's about cultivating relationships that inspire us to pursue God's calling and to support each other's growth. It can also mean being there when someone else is struggling. Imagine being the reason someone renewed their hope in God or rekindled their faith. That's the impact community can have. As you build your support system, Remember that it's okay to be vulnerable. Sharing your struggles can provide others with the courage to open up about theirs. This mutual sharing fosters trust and honesty, creating a safe space to grow together. You might be surprised by how your openness can lead to deeper connections and will inspire others. Listen for God in the voices around you, as He often speaks through friends and mentors. Their insights can offer perspective on your journey, pushing you to grow while reminding you of God's love. Don't hesitate to seek wise counsel or advice from those who walk closely with God. Their experiences and faith can help illuminate your path, guiding you toward deeper understanding. In closing, building a supportive community is crucial for strengthening your faith. Engage with others who share your beliefs. Make time for fellowship, and never underestimate the difference you can make in each other's lives. When you surround yourself with fellow believers, you can lean on each other in times of need, celebrate the victories together, and grow from the lessons learned along the way. It's through this bond that your relationship with God can deepen as you experience His love in tangible ways through your community. So, reach out, connect, and embrace the opportunity to walk alongside others on this journey of faith. In reflecting on Enoch's journey, we find rich spiritual insights through the principles we've discussed. Each one shapes our walk with God. Remember that sincere prayer brings us closer, allowing true communication with our Creator. As we persevere through life's difficulties, we can transform our trials into pathways for growth, drawing strength from our challenges. Recognizing God's signs in the small yet profound moments helps us see His presence in our daily lives, enriching our faith. Understanding obedience is not just an act, but a vital part of our relationship with God. It opens doors to deeper trust and understanding. Lastly, the importance of a supportive community cannot be overstated. Surrounding ourselves with fellow believers provides the encouragement and accountability necessary for a strong faith. Every step we take in faith, no matter how small, brings us closer to God's purpose for our lives. Embrace these truths and walk boldly in your faith, as each step leads you into the amazing journey God has planned for you. Thank you for joining us on this journey into Enoch's secret to walking with God. Now, we want to hear from you. Which of these 5 principles resonated with you the most? Your thoughts matter, and sharing your experience can inspire others. If you know someone who could benefit from these insights, why not share this video with them? You never know how a simple gesture could touch a heart in need. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We've got more inspiring messages and teachings coming your way that can fuel your faith and uplift your spirit. If this message touched your heart, leave an amen in the comments and join us in spreading the word. Remember, your faith journey matters, and together we can uplift each other through our shared experiences. Before you go, there's another message waiting just for you on the screen. Click to keep watching. Let God's Word continue to renew your heart and strengthen your spirit. Every moment in His presence is a step closer to peace and purpose.